My parents named me Lila, but on my spiritual journey, I discovered that my name is or was Akeeya. And it was my mentor, Melody, who said that I should use that name professionally. So I did. And since I have officially become a goddess on this planet, that was the name that I first used. And then I incarnated. And so right now you see me as Mamakeeya. And I'm going to take the time to channel the divine mother. That's what I call her. When I say prayers, when I pray to the divine, I include male, female, and all in between and beyond. It's not limited to gender. It's not limited. But the voice I hear is more feminine and stronger and has a vibration to it. When I hear that voice, I refer to it as the Big Kahuna. That's just what I call Great Spirit or God, Goddess. When I spell goddess, I spell it G-O-D and then a backslash D-E-S-S. So in order to include all identities. I don't think God is limited, as we can see all around us, all that has been created. So in preparing the space, which I don't even know if that was videotaped, but in preparing the space, there were messages that were already transmitted to me from the Divine Mother, and she asked me to do a couple of things this time. So I'm going to I always follow her instructions, and I go in unscripted. There's never a script to my galleries. There's never a script to my channeling. So it's not like I did research and I just said, well, we'll talk about this today. No, I just clear my energy field, clear my mind. This has nothing to do with me as an individual human being, cosmic being in this universe, and my choices, whether those choices are good, bad, or judged by others to be subpar, whatever it is, or fabulous. I still live a human existence, but I am a goddess incarnate. And that's part of the fun of being an incarnated goddess, because I get to experience things from a different perspective, in a different body, with a different mindset. And throughout this lifetime, as well as yours, in our journeys, we experience a vast variety of adventures and emotions and situations and traumas and challenges, and we are here to create with all of that. What will you create based on this? And it's fascinating to me how we have the possibilities of creating things that our imaginations only see, but we can actually put into our reality. So this is just an introduction. I have, a lot of times people say, what is it that you do? I can't just say one word. I can't just say, well, I'm a psychic. Oh, I'm a medium. Oh, I'm a forensic psychic. Oh, I'm a mom. Oh, I'm a goddess. Oh, I just can't. Some people say, well, what is it that you do? Right now, this is what I'm doing. I'm channeling the Divine Mother. That's what I'm channeling. She is, as far as I know, the creator of all that is. In my awareness, in your awareness, all around. And as you know, none of us creates alone. There's always a cast of characters. You will always have someone as a companion or touchstone to see where you are and how you have you progressed. Are you comfortable? Is this good enough? And that's the question that she said, is this good enough? Is this good enough for you to truly be grateful and satisfied with where you are right now? Because it wasn't just a light switch that flipped on that created today. It was a combination of many energies, including the passion of your parents to create today. So I'm going to go ahead and ring the singing bowl, which will raise the vibrations of the room, neutralize negativity, and help me to center myself. And that's when I will allow the connection and the channel to come as clearly as possible. Sometimes you will notice that I will volley back and forth between the Divine Mother, other entities, energies, spirit guides. I am very specific in my prayers and meditation not to allow anything that's malevolent, negative. I don't allow that close to my body. So channeling is just listening. And by listening and partaking of this video in this moment, you are also channeling for yourselves. Channeling is for you, to help guide you. So sometimes, especially when you feel like you have major decisions to make and you need guidance, there's so many resources available, including myself, but you are your best resource. You have the ability to connect directly with the divine. And some people say, I don't believe in the divine. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in it. And maybe it's not fair that I say it the way I say it. You know, maybe they don't say it like that. Maybe they say, I don't know if I believe in God. But I don't want you to limit what you believe because of how I express myself or how I say it. Just know that you have a direct connection to the creator of all that is. Someone created this. Someone created this. For example, if you've had children or you have grandchildren or great-grandchildren, someone created that. You're a part of it. You are a part of it. So the question is, ask yourself, what can you create with what's happening now, currently, as you're watching this video, but just in your own life. It's a good thing for you to use that as a touchstone. What will I create today? You already know what isn't being created. You already know there are things that you have to work at to create. You already know that some things may seem so impossible, but creation is a process, and it's wonderful. It's magnificent to witness. And we live in a world with so much information's out there. You do have to discern the information. And you want to know something? Sometimes that information shifts and changes because you get new updated information. And that's one of the reasons why the Divine Mother would like to speak to the world, because she also grows and she also changes. You know, I think sometimes I think about it, this is just an analogy, and it probably minimizes what I'm trying to say, but it's like fashion. You know, one decade hats are in season, one day they're not. You know, it's just like the divine also has her preferences. The divine also has her seasons. The divine also chooses her messengers. See, she chose me. Let me tell you something. You can go through every detail in my life and you'll probably see some things that are shocking and shameless, let me tell you. And there's some things that are wonderful and uplifting. When I am in this mode, it's not about me. It's not about Lila. It's not about Akia. It's not even about Mamakeeya. It's about you. It's about the divine. She's trying to get a message to you. And you can receive that message directly, but this is also an amplification, because there are some of you who are watching this, and this may be 10 years from the original filming, that needed to hear what's going to come out. Because she is multidimensional. She is not limited to linear. She is quantum. She is everything that is magnificent, and also she can be terrifying. I never want to make her angry. No, don't want to make her angry. Okay, so here we go. The first images that I see are the seashore. It's like I'm on the beach and I see lots and lots of shells. There's all kinds of different shells, but there's also life. I can see hermit crabs, and I can see, I can hear the birds, and the water, and I see the water, how beautiful it is. She's telling me that I'm on the edge of consciousness. She said that that souls flow into this dimension in an ocean of light, of an ocean of creation. And as people collect shells, like people collect shells, she too does collect the stories of all of you that have existed on this planet. Every story is unique. Every choice is unique. Every soul is unique. And she loves to find, you know how you're walking on the beach and you find like a piece of driftwood, and when you look at it, maybe it looks like it's shaped like a dragon, or you can see that it can become something more, or that it's just beautiful by itself, and you take it home with you. You carry it home with you because you want to keep that energy or that beauty or that memory with you. Well, she does that with all of us. She says that she doesn't discard any of us, regardless of even if you've ever baked cookies before. The intentions are to eat something yummy and delicious at the end, but every once in a while you leave the cookies in there a little too long and they burn, okay? I don't know about you, but I eat the burnt cookies because I love homemade cookies. But the point is that sometimes cookies burn and maybe they aren't edible, but there are other things. The intention was to make something delicious to eat and something that's wonderful. So, sometimes people in life, they feel like, they waited too long. I left the cookies in the oven too long, now they're burnt. You're going to make another batch. You're going to make another batch of really good cookies, but this time you're going to be more mindful. You're going to be more mindful of watching the time. You're going to be more mindful of the temperature. You're going to be more mindful, more watchful. And that's one of her things that she would like you to really focus on in your lives, is to be more mindful that there are some things that you feel like, oh, I waited too long, or oh, I missed that opportunity, and you can look back and you can be very self-critical or critical of others, but the point is if it's valuable for you to create, if it's something that you feel that would nurture you and is delicious, you start again. You start again. You try again. You don't stop trying. Don't stop trying. You will succeed eventually. And I do remember she's showing me when I was 7 years old. We lived in Great Lake, Illinois, and my Oji-san, he had a old bike, one of those old bicycles, and he said, I always wanted my own bike, and so he brought it up for me to use to learn how to ride my bike. Well, this thing was twice the size of me, and I thought, oh, but I would watch the kids in the neighborhood with their bicycles, and they were doing really good. So I was determined to teach myself how to ride a bike. So I took this huge bike, this monstrosity, and I'm gonna tell you something, it was heavy metal. It wasn't aluminum, okay? It was heavy metal. And I remember getting on it and falling so many times, and some of the kids laughed. They thought it was kind of funny. But then there were those kids that came up and said, here, let me hold this for you, or let me help you to be more balanced. Pay attention to what brings you greater balance and who comes to your side and your aid to balance you through your journey. I've been very, very blessed. I have a wonderful, she's like my spiritual life companion. I met her more than a decade ago, after I was channeling at a hotel, and she's always been there to assist me on my journey and help me to be more refined and more cultured. And then there's Mr. V, and it's because of Mr. V that I'm able to have this media to convey the Divine Mother's messages to you. She wants you to know it's important to pay attention to who shows up for you. A lot of you recognize when there are those who don't show up for you, but you've always shown up for them. And sometimes it becomes uncomfortable, because then you see it's a one-way street. But never think that. Never think it's a one-way street, because all you do to assist others on their journey does matter. And it especially matters to the Divine Mother. She is witnessing your true intentions. A lot of you do what you do to be loved. A lot of you do what you do to be loved. So do what you do to be loved. That love is not just external, it is internal. It is internal. It is a part of what you were born with. You know, we're used to, if you need a computer, a monitor, speakers, you go somewhere, there's all kinds of wonderful stores you can purchase it at. But how about this? The divine equipped us with everything that's necessary for us to be loved and to love. Sometimes we forget to love ourselves. We forget to love our journey. You are where you are. You are where you are. And you can do many things externally to pay attention to where you are. You know, when people feel successful financially, they might drive a fancy car. When people feel they are loved by their family, they may surround themselves with photos. Your environment matters, but the environment of your heart, your mind, your spirit is a number one priority. It is good for you to do an inventory. Take a walk on the shores of your mind. Every day, your mind will come up with a review of something that you experienced in this lifetime. And with that review comes emotions. You may get angry. You may get melancholy. You may think, oh, shoot, why did I do that? But as those come up, that's an opportunity to walk on the shores of your consciousness and the shores of your unconscious. And just as the shells on the beach were once inhabited by wonderful life and creatures, they still have their purpose. And I learned at a very young age, you pick up those shells and you put them next to your ear and you listen, and you can hear the ocean. But I learned also that when you pick up things around you, even crystals, and you put it by your ear, you can hear things. Your hearing can be amplified by many of the things that surround you or you choose to have in your environment. And this can affect you, I always get the hiccups when I channel, emotionally, mentally, physically, or spiritually, or energetically. And take a walk on the shores of your consciousness. Look at the shells that are there. Which ones attract you the most? Do you even want to pick up the shells? And then take a look. Is there something that is a form of pollution, something that was discarded thoughtlessly maybe, or maybe you're putting more thought into it that it just needs to clear out? Just clear it so that it's a little bit more refreshing. Refresh the shores of your memory. Refresh the shores of your memory. That's why you physically die. You die a physical death so that you can be refreshed. But the process of dying is not refreshing, as many of you know. And I do appreciate the idea of a quick transition from our dimension to the dimension of our Divine Mother. You know, There's many questions in regards to what happens when we die. There are many authors, there are many individuals who experience near-death experiences or have connected with the other side. Um, there have been many people who have visitors from the other side. The divine wants you to know how you die and where you go is totally up to you. It really is. It's kind of like this. It's like a mom. The mom gives birth to you. Hopefully, she raises you to be equipped to live your life independently, that you might have food and clothing and shelter. You know, not all moms are able to do that. You know, sometimes they're not equipped. You need to really pay attention to the people that are in your life and what they are equipped to share with you, to lend to you, to give to you, to take from you. What are they equipped with? Because if you're asking for someone to be in your life and they don't have the equipment that you need, you need that equipment somehow, some way. And sometimes your biological parents don't have all that equipment. Majority of them do, because they grow into being a parent. They grow into recognizing what they need to equip themselves with in order to do their very best. Are you doing your very best? Is it your best? Because your best gets better. Your best gets better. Say you lived your very best life. You were happy and everything that you wanted to experience manifested. On the point that you decide to transition to the other side, your journey is already mapped out for you. If you believe that you will be reunited with your loved ones, you will. If you believe you will experience peace, you will. If you bring in all the scary things that go bump in the night, or vengeance or anger, you'll experience that too. You know, death is a surrender. You're surrendering your earthly life, your story, your possessions. Isn't it interesting how you will have loved ones who will fight over your life, your truth, your possessions? Isn't it interesting? Perhaps it's because in some way they want to hold on to that energy, the energy that was connected to you. But all too often, there is a connection to the disappointment, angers, temptations, the less than. It is not good to fight with one another upon the death of a loved one, and it is not good for you to fight with anyone prior to your death. Sometimes it is necessary, but ask yourselves, what is the best choice, the best actions you can take to honor the life, the possessions, the benefits of whomever it was that you loved? How can you honor that? How can you honor and respect those who have gone before you? Many of you will never experience racism unless it is shown to you. Many of you are clueless. as to what that even means. Perhaps you have not experienced it, but that does not mean you don't have a loving and kind heart. It doesn't mean that you can't stand up against any injustice, against any of my creations, in all their unique forms and deformities. Things do not have to be perfect, because they already are, as they are created. But isn't it marvelous that there are those who are incarnated, who others are able to use their wisdom and creative abilities to instill a healing or more perfection. For example, children who are born with cleft palates. Many of your scientists and medical advisories have clues as to why that happens during gestation. Are you aware that every form of deformity, or what you would seem as a deformity, it has a purpose, an opportunity for someone to use their creative wisdom and knowledge to fix, to repair, to create something even better, a challenge of some sort. And how many of those children born with cleft palates have had the privilege and opportunity of being what is considered correction, and can smile so beautifully now because someone was able to tap in to that part of healing that could look at something and say, I can fix this. I can make this better. I can make this the best. You can fix this. You can make it better. You can make it the best. And your best will even become even more better. But you must try. And in trying, you will fail. Look at the history of your planet. Look at the history of creation. There are those who are considered brilliant and authority figures who have dictated to many of you what is right, what is wrong. And you follow that. But then over time you see, at that time perhaps that was the best they can do. But perhaps now it's time to do better. Of course you will imprison those who will harm others needlessly. But it is not necessary for you to incarcerate yourselves in your own lives, to become prisoners of something that was created before you were even born. And I speak to you about the emotional dysfunctions many of you have had to travel through. And of course you do seek religion, spirituality, pleasures, temptations to somehow bring meaning, comfort, or distract you from it all. You will find a way to create as you were meant to create. My biggest disappointment is when any of you return and you feel you have been a failure, and you felt that way before you even left this dimension, this realm. You felt like someone that you loved so deeply was unable to return that love to you, but you were willing to do whatever it took to show them that you love them, and yet they may have chosen someone else. But in truth, beloveds, they choose themselves, and you must do the same also. Choose yourself. If someone or something has hurt you, don't do that to anyone else. Be the emissary of change. It is only when there is the battle of you hurt me, I'll hurt you. No, I'll hurt you. You hurt me, I'll hurt you. It does not solve anything. This is mine. No, it's mine. This is mine. I will destroy all who come afterwards because this is all mine. You can't do that, but you are. You are doing that needlessly. Share this space. Share it. Share it. Yes, some of you prefer larger spaces, and some of you are quite happy with a satchel on your back. But this space is large enough for this entire planet, for all to share. But yet you keep taking the homes, the lands, the terrains of God's creatures. You keep taking it, and you feel that you are justified because you get a mortgage. You discovered it, you have a title. No, that's not how this world was created. It's a vast space for you to explore. This is paradise. Paradise. Some of you feel that you have lived through hell. Why is that? Is it because of the actions and choices of others? Is it because you don't have sufficient for your needs? Is it because you're not getting the attention that you need? You must start with yourself. You know what's right for you. You and I discussed this prior to your birth. Don't you remember? I give you that today. Remember when we sat with each other and we talked about all the many possibilities, especially the possibilities of joy in your life, if you so choose. But sometimes there are authorities who choose for you and bring in misery, sadness, depletion, and depression. But you are your authority. You are your authority. We talked about this. We talked about your talents. We talked about your dreams. We talked about your loves. You knew that you would fall in love and your heart would break. You knew you would experience death. You knew you would witness crazy. We talked about this. This is your opportunity to express your godliness. How are you expressing your godliness?